The topic is reconciling fear of being KILLED when you truly activate, embody, and stand as full power. So it is time for this conversation, at least at the level that we will have this conversation publicly. This came up over the weekend, and it came up during initiation, not this past week, but the week before. Hold on, me. Fear of being. Pardon me. Okay, very good. And so it is time for this conversation. And so, hello, my name is Naima. You are currently watching Woman. This is Womanhood. This is a live stream that I host Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific, at least for now. There's always change, but for now, I am here on YouTube and also typically on TikTok, Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific. TikTok has suspended my live streaming privileges until this coming Thursday. So in the meantime, I am here on YouTube, as well as I'm live streaming on Facebook as well. So the purpose of Womanhood, what you're watching right now, this live stream, is to support women, meet women, be an environment, at least virtually, right? In this very simple way, low entry way, distant way for folks to self-select if they are sincere about their full power, if they are truly ready to either so grow up and either really do the work that they are called to do, really do the work that they are called to do, and or follow the voice that will bring them the deepest, greatest personal satisfaction that every human always gets called. And for women in particular, right, we have our own set of challenges, if you will. And so here's an opportunity for you to lean in a little bit. And when you're ready to come in closer, whether come into our womanhood initiation, whether come into Shadow Gold and be mentored by me at a higher level, guided, coached, mentored at a higher level, heal your witch wound, etc. You can select that, okay? So my name is Naima. I'm the founder of the Academy for Womanhood, where we help women, guide women, mentor women, love women, coach women into growing up and becoming unapologetic women who design their lives on desire's terms. Hello. So today's topic, reconciling the fear of being KILLED when you truly activate, embody, and stand as full power. So, while to many of us this may feel new, or the speed of consciousness today, the speed at which change is occurring, the speed at which life feels like it's happening, the way so much of what has been normal on a consciousness level, meaning the way humans have been living, is rapidly. And the truth is, all of this has been here all along, all the time, all the time since before you and I got here. And it feels this way because there's been a lot of breaking in what's been placed on the human. There's been a lot of breaking of idealism placed on what the man and the woman or how humans are supposed to be based on the church, based on fill in the blank. And there's been a lot of breaking of that, and a lot of lies have just dissolved. A lot of lies have just straight up dissolved. And when you really see, you can no longer unsee. When you really see, you can no longer unsee. And so what's happened is the hold on the deep mind of humanity has just been cleared up with all the truths, because the only way that any system can continue is when people agree to it. It's the only way a system can stay in place. Any system, the medical system, the government system, the system of marriage, the school system, all these systems that humans have been abiding by, all these man-made systems, okay, that humans have been abiding by and calling it normal and calling it tradition and calling it, this is how life works. You know, all the man-made systems that have kept humans in place are being disrupted. And there are people on earth now, okay, that are modern versions of some of the power and magic examples that were given in the Bible. Now, because of the thickness of tradition, I repeat, because of the thickness of tradition, and what do I mean? I mean the thickness and the deep, deep roots it has in the deep mind of humanity. The thickness of these traditions separates the goal of these symbols and implants in the deep mind. The goal is to separate you from magic. And the you who I'm talking to, okay? It's meant to blind you to yourself. It's meant to blind you to what is here all the time, evidently. It's here all the time. This is why I say, once you see, you can't, it's like, oh my God, right? Okay. And so how you may hear people today talk about the Bible and magical times and talk about it as a back then thing. Like my mom does that a lot when she talks about the Bible, when she talks about different miracles and magic that in the Bible, it's always like, well, that the only reason that was allowed to happen back then is because God wanted people to know that Jesus was the son, his son, and that he wanted people to know that magic is real and power is real. And he only allowed them to be able to do that to show his power, to show that that these humans are representation of God's instruction, God's will, God's order. And so I'm like, those people don't exist today, Mom. And her and so many people um, separate, right? And that's what the whole thickness and the deep mind is designed to do. It's meant to separate you from the full power that you are. And so what's happening now is because the thickness, some of the thickness, depending on what system we're talking about, has been killed, destroyed, and some of it is just being whittled down, right? Again, this is dynamic. I'm talking about multiple systems at the same time here. As the systems start to break, this is where people are feeling like they're going crazy. Some people are feeling overwhelmed and they're just collapsing. And other things are happening, like people are waking up. People are like, things that they felt okay about for the last 20 years. Suddenly it's just like, how did I get, right? I was watching a Latin woman who's 60 something. She's a widow. She has children. And she had was in her car. She teaches, she consults companies on leadership and a more holistic way of leadership. And she was in the car talking about being in the gym and men. And again, this is a widowed woman with children. And she says, this woman over 60, how have we tolerated this for so long? She was sharing a story of something that happened at the gym and what she sees with men today. And she's like, how did we as women tolerate this for so long? And that's just one of the many examples of what we call tradition is really a lock in consciousness. Okay. What we call, and I'm talking about man-made, modern. And when I say modern, I mean the last couple thousand years. Okay. It's a real lock on consciousness, and we label it with the sentiment of tradition to get people to agree. And then we load it with symbols and play on human biology of belonging, of needing to reproduce, eat, etc. And still, it's always in competition with the truth, and the truth will stand. That's why I say you can pour ideology and the choke of tradition on whatever you want. The truth is going to do what the truth is going to do. And it's sort of like going into a country's land or a city or whatnot, and you decide you want it to be what you want it to be. And so you build up a city. And in order to maintain that city, you got to keep making it do what you want it to do. So you set up systems to make that city be unlike what it was naturally. But if you were to leave it alone, it would shift. It wouldn't stay that way because it's not how it actually is. And that's essentially what is going on with humans now. Now that so many humans are unhooking and being left to themselves, and COVID seemed to be a great initiator for that. So many people were home with time to themselves, away from the system of work and all the busyness of modern living. And they realized, I don't like this man after all. I don't want this. I don't. And so it's just the truth. This is what I mean by the truth is gonna prevail, even if it takes a long time, because it's standing all the time as everybody is throwing tradition at it, as everybody is throwing ideology at it, arguing it down. It remains. And so, what is true is that there are people today who are human physical representation of magical folks from the Bible. There are, um, you can put different names, whatever that makes sense to you. You can put God on it. You can put extraterrestrial. You can put alien on it. You can put whatever name that man has created to help you make sense of it. You could put whatever you want to put on it. What remains is there are humans alive today who carry the seeds of what we could call sci-fi magic. Okay, so the Matrix. A lot of you like the Matrix. You've seen the Matrix. You're like, wow, that's it, right? Matrix, etc. And yet, how many of you know that you have the capability of what you saw in the Matrix? How many of you know that you have the capability to live and assert the way they did Neo? Was uh, what was his teacher's name? How many of you know that you have that power? And listen, this is not about, being like the Matrix. This is an introduction. What I just shared was an intro into the women and men who are walking around with these seeds inside of them today, right now. I'm one of those people. The women are finding themselves to me. Okay. And with the deep mind programming, the lock in consciousness and the dissolution of that lock in consciousness, and women being left to themselves, women now engaging in higher level transformational work, deep, dark shadow alchemy, uh, their version of transformation and healing in whatever way the woman feels called to do. Those of us with those seeds are finding each other. And the recurring feeling is like a woman said to me on Saturday, I know, she said this to me, I know that I will be KILLED if I were to come into my full power. Now, I'm going to continue to defer to MATRIX to make a point here today. So I know some people are just ignorant to this, like they just don't know, right? It's not an insult. It's just the truth of just not knowing, okay? And then there are others who really, remember I said the lock on consciousness and the different nuanced ways that the powers that be have infiltrated your deep mind to get you to be blind to yourself, where you literally go against yourself and you see it as good. You see it as right. That's part of the hypnotic leverage. Okay. So, one of the big, so there's different angles to talk about this. One of the big arguments is, or fears perhaps, is that the technology of today, whatever advancing technology you want to point to, that with, oh boy, whatever technology you want to defer to, that somehow that's bigger than anything and everything that any of us could do. I know this is this is a heavy topic, and I'm talking about it, and so you just deal with it, get it out the way, and realize that it's hysterical. It's absolutely hysterical, and it's actually fun when we gather. Okay, so uh, remember at the end of Matrix when Neo, he kept being scared and he kept running. He kept being scared of the system or whatever they called those men who were against him. The enemy, the fill in the blank of the people who you fear with KILLU. Okay. And he kept being scared. He kept being scared. And they shot at him. He kept trying to run to like go to another world, like the world where his people were, right? In this case, I can relate that to those of you who love to float off to other dimensions because you don't like Earth or whatever. You feel like there's nothing else here, right? And so you like to float off into other dimensions and disconnect from your body and go to other timelines and go to the Akashic records, which is fine. Listen, I'm not talking against those things. It's fine. Do what you like. I'm saying if you're doing that because you are afraid to really activate, embody, and assert down here, okay? That's great to do as an addendum, right? As a supplement. But if that's a way to abandon, I'd like to invite you into another way. So, in relating that to the Matrix, how it was like the world, right? Like the dominant world, and then there was their world where they would teleport to, like through the phone, remember? And he kept running every time the heat would come on. So in this case, let's say the heat is resistance, right? Or any kind of heat where you get challenged to step into your power in a real way. Okay. Um, any kind of heat, any kind of heat. You get served divorce papers out of the blue, you know, power, there's like something that's highly confronting and, right? And you want to abandon ship, right? You rejected, you want to go out to another dimension, you tense up, you play defense, like all the things, right? So Neo constantly wanting to run to the other dimension on the phone is a reflection of that, right? Every time, I gotta get back. Come on, Harry, I gotta get out of here. And then at the end of the movie, he was trying to abandon ship again because the heat was on. They were after him. The heat was on. And they shot at him. And they shot him up good. See, this is what happened when you run. That's why resistance keep kicking you in the ass. He ran and they shot him up real good. Remember, he was up against and they shot him up. They shot him up real good on the floor. And they walked away. They're like, we got him. We got him. And they walked away. Am I remembering this? Now I want to go watch it again. But the point remains. They turned their backs to walk away. Neo got up. And then they turned around like amazed that he got up, and they went to go shoot at him again. Now he's like, no, no. So this is, you think or you know. So I sent out an email over the weekend to my community saying, most humans demand that life serves them a lot of pain before they will really move toward thriving. I'll repeat that. most humans demand that life serves them a lot of pain before they'll start to move toward thriving. Neo was running and running and running, running from his power, running from the enemy, running from the technology of the dominant world, running, and he felt very valid in his running. His mentor, matter of fact, was part of it all. Okay, running, 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 running. And his mentor he kept telling him, "You're the one. I know you're the one. You're the one." And he kept refusing. No, and his mentor, if you're dealing with average people, okay, you're not, you are the one. You listen, you are the one. You are the, how many of you have gotten instructions, you've gotten invitations, you just knew on some level, that you're the one and you have refused? This woman who I talked to over the weekend, like, my method of survival is keeping myself locked into this 9 to 5. Whatever you keep yourself locked into after you've been told. This is a woman who's like, I have been called. I have been called, and I fear being KILLED when I stand fully in my power. She's not the only one. And so you've gotten this instruction time and time. You've gotten invitations. You've had knocks upside the head. Maybe you've gotten sick. Maybe you've gotten panic attacks. You've all the things that have happened. And in Neo's case, he got shot up on the floor. This is after him running, denying, no, this is not it. Being highly skeptical of Morpheus's intent, being highly skeptical of Morpheus. Morpheus is on his side. Morpheus is the greatest thing that has happened in his life, but he's looking at Morpheus suspect. He's looking at everything there for his freedom with a suspect. And after running and running and running and running, finally getting shot up on the floor, he was like, no. They sent that bullet to him, caught the bullet. Isn't that what happened? He caught the bullet. That's like something out of the Bible, right? You catching bullets? Phew. They ran. They ran. Now I know this is a large topic. Okay. This is a large topic, isn't it? It's a heavy topic. It's particularly heavy when you exist on the side of running and fear, etc. This used to feel very, very much heavy to me. We can go back 2012, but even leading up to. And the fact that I can talk about this with such ease is because of I have the solution to this. I have worked with, in, on, around, as, within, on, around, has, like the nuance, the fine nuance of this. And I shared this with the woman over the weekend, the way to deal with this. I'm not going to talk about that here and now, but it's so simple. It's when I say simple, I mean the state of being on a frequency level is, and the getting to that place is where it's hard. It gets hard, it is hard, etc. And the only reason why it's hard is because of the thickness of your consciousness right now. The thickness that, as I talked about, how the efforts that have been placed to separate you from yourself and have you abide by tradition and play on your sentimentality as a means to get you to agree, play on your biology to get you to agree, to play on your fear of death, fear of life to get you to agree. And those of us who have these seeds in us are finding each other. And we're either going to say yes or we're going to say no, because many of us say no for a long time. I mean, I know I said no for a while, vehemently, and ran. And, anybody who was in my face, it would have been difficult for me to say yes to them. And something is in my mind right now uh, about, yeah, perhaps I'll talk about that at another time. So, one, uh, there's a thickness in your consciousness. You're not crazy. I mean, like I'm preaching to the choir, and in part, I'm saying something you already know. Um, the seed is in you, and I have the solution to seriously reconcile your fear of being KILLED when you truly activate, embody, and walk as full power. I have the solution to that. And our woman community is starting April 29th, 2 weeks from today. My goodness. The woman community starts 2 weeks from today. However, I have a new program called Radical Transformation. Yeah. This is for those of you who want a hard reset. When I say hard reset, I mean you want true, deep, close support to truly do this. You know, you don't want a DIY thing to go off and, intellectualize and get distracted by. You want to be in close relationship, to be supported as you go through the turbulence of truly coming into power, dealing with this topic that we just talked about. So you reconcile, as this woman said on Saturday. She's like, when I know that the only thing that's stopping me from showing up is this fear of being KILLED, then obviously that's what I need to deal with. And a 27-year-old woman, same thing, inside the Womanhood initiation, not this past week, but the week before. She said, I know that my biggest fear, because that's what we were addressing, biggest fear is that I will be killed. This is super niche work, okay? And this is to be talked about openly. Part of the way thickness in the deep mind can maintain is being kept quiet, being kept in the dark. And when we talk about it with people who have capacity, another woman who's a big academic said to me, was it yesterday? It was Saturday. She was like, you are nuanced. You have nuance, Naima, and I need that. This nuance about this particular topic, reconciling the fear of being killed and the work to do around it, in it, on it, as it, and the real fine nuances of power for women. Mm, yeah. So that's inside of Radical Transformation. Radical Transformation, we start in May and we go into the end of January 2025. My goodness, can you believe it? 2025. So we start in May, which is in just a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, and we go until the end of January. And that is a $25,000 program. It's a small group program. And if you have questions about that, you can DM. And Woman, which is a much larger community that will grow. Um, I'll put the link, I'll make sure the link is here in the description, okay? And also here with this video on Facebook that I will be leaving here. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to DM or email me. And I look forward to those of you who will be with me inside of the masterclass that's starting on Wednesday, the 5-day Embody Your Platform Masterclass. And thank you so much for being here. I'm here Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific. This is Womanhood. So I'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific.